Hello, my friends. This is Vidakovic, and you're listening to the Inspiring Life School podcast. In this episode today, I'm going to be sharing you the final. It's a third part of a 3-part workshop that I created a little while ago, and I'm sharing it here on the podcast with you. And it was titled How to Eliminate 90% of Your Guilt in 3 Simple Steps. And the goal is pretty much for you to stop feeling so guilty in life. Guilty about the things that you are doing, that you aren't doing, and just really help you put that negative emotion to rest. I do not want it to be consuming your life, okay? 90% less guilt is what I'm promising you as part of this workshop. And at the end of this particular episode, you're going to hear me reference one of my signature courses, which is called Your Invisible Crown. This is my signature personal development course. It has over 10 hours of content and also provides you with really specific tools and strategies to help you begin showing up as the best version of yourself every single day. It's my proudest achievement. And if you want to take all the work that we do here on the podcast 10 layers deeper than you've ever gone before, make sure to just visit inspiringmomlife.com and step onto the shop tab. You're going to find the course there, Your Invisible Crown. And with that being said, let's dive on in, my friend. Welcome, my friend, to the third and final video of the series on how to remove 90% of the guilt from your life in 3 simple steps. So just to recap, in the first step, you learn that your feelings come from your thoughts and that you, my friend, get to choose which thoughts you want to embrace and fondle and hold tight onto. And in the second step, we explored how the outside noise in the world often impacts our expectations and perceptions in life, and yet we get to decide what voices we have floating inside our earbuds every day, and the importance of making sure that our own inner voice is loving and kind. Now, if you were to just stop right here and simply implement these first 2 steps, this information alone would dramatically decrease the amount of guilt that you are feeling in your life, and my guess was by 90%. However, I want to go even further with you today and talk about what to do that other 10% of the time when guilt shows up in your life simply because you're having a human moment, and how to process through this emotion in the simplest, most effective way. So you may have noticed that I've actually never promised to you that you're going to feel 100% guilt-free after this video series. And the reason for this is because you're a human, and humans by default experience negative emotions in life. But there is a massive difference between experiencing an emotion like guilt for a few minutes every so often and working through it and letting it go, versus holding on to it so tight and refusing to let it go that it negatively impacts your life for way longer than necessary. So first things first, let's talk about the human experience for a moment. We're both humans simply doing the best that we can in life right now. And I'm just so proud of the fact that you are with me here today, doing your best to eliminate guilt from your life, okay? Because we don't want to be experiencing guilt any longer than we need to. But let's have a conversation about the thoughts that we often have about the human experience. For some reason, many of us have this expectation that we should be happy all the time in life. And due to this one thought that you're having, we often experience so much discontent. So let me repeat this for you one more time, because I think it's super important that you really, really understand this. People often have this unrealistic expectation that life should be full of rainbows and daisies and butterflies, that it should be perfect. And when life presents to us normal challenges and obstacles that are just a normal part of being a human, we think something has gone wrong, or we feel upset and overwhelmed and disappointed because our reality doesn't match the expectations that we have about life. So in this lesson, I want to introduce to you this idea that life is 50-50. 50% of the time, you're going to be experiencing pretty pleasant emotions like joy and calm and optimism. Maybe it's contentment. And the other 50% of the time, you might experience less pleasant emotions like confusion or doubt or frustration or just feeling challenged. Now, you may not love the fact that I'm sharing this concept with you, but chances are you've already experienced this in your life. This is the normal ups and downs of being a human. So let me share with you a few examples from my own life, okay? The examples of the negative emotions that I might experience on a regular daily basis. So when I take the time to go to the gym, that's the most obvious occasion that I can think of when negative emotions start to come up. If I'm doing a body pump class or yoga, I'm definitely feeling stretched. And if I've had a long day at work, I'm feeling drained as well, and maybe a lot of resistance. And I don't always feel great in those moments. And then there are all the everyday little things that pop up. Like if I go to the dog park and my dog, Sabre, she's a Doberman, she refuses to come back to me when I call her, I start to feel annoyed. Or if I go down to the kitchen and I see that the kids have just left their dirty dishes in the sink and they haven't cleaned it up, even though they're supposed to, I feel annoyed in those moments too. And then there's all the negative emotion that I experience whenever I am doing my work. I am constantly stepping outside my comfort zone, which requires for me to process a lot of fear at times. And if I have a long to-do list, sometimes I feel really overwhelmed. Even though at the same time I might be feeling productive, I'm still like the background noise might be overwhelmed and maybe just some pressure to get the work done. As you can see, like there's both positive and negative emotions that happen throughout the course of my very normal days. Now, in the last lesson, I spoke to you about how we often have negative thoughts about our thoughts, and this is also referred to as layering emotions onto emotions. So when you understand that life is 50-50, it is so much easier to allow those negative emotions to just enter your life and let them be without judgment, without then adding to it like negative thoughts about those negative thoughts. Are you with me? Like sometimes we get angry about the fact that we're angry, and sometimes we're annoyed at ourselves for feeling really disappointed. I mean, just allow yourself to process that emotion. Like seriously, think about this for a moment. What if you decided that nothing has gone wrong if a struggle or challenge or obstacle pops up in your life? What if you just decided that this is a normal part of life and there's no need for any alarm bells to start ringing inside your head whenever you're experiencing a negative feeling, okay? Nothing has gone wrong. What if you were just having a human moment? So just to share with you another example, whenever I'm feeling challenged at work, I'm okay with it. I think, okay, this is just a part of my life where I'm feeling a little challenge right now. But I want to bring this back to the topic of guilt. So hopefully you will have noticed that there's so much freedom to be gained from just accepting that life is 50-50, from allowing your emotions to come and go without judgment rather than constantly resisting them. Because here is the thing, like you can actually have an amazing life, even if 50% of the time the emotions that you might be experiencing are a little crappy. And this is especially true if you're chasing a big goal in life, because in that scenario, 50% of the negative emotions that you might be experiencing might include fear because you're stepping outside your comfort zone, discomfort whenever you're trying something new, or maybe you're feeling confused, you don't know how to solve that next big problem that's being presented to you. This is all totally normal. So the next time that guilt pops into your life, here is my recommendation to you. Allow it to be. Allow it to be rather than resisting it and just wishing it would go away. This is just a moment in time where you are feeling a little guilty. Now ask yourself what specific thought is triggering this emotion in you. Because remember, you can't feel guilty unless you are thinking a thought that is making you feel guilty. So determine what that thought is, okay? What is making you feel this way? That is the best place to start. And next, without judgment, ask yourself, did you do anything wrong? Like, did you possibly do something wrong? Imagine that you were supposed to meet your partner at a work party and then you got a flat tire. Would you feel guilty about that? Like, I strongly recommend that you avoid feeling guilty for things that are outside of your control. And if you maybe missed the party because you forgot about it, or maybe you fell asleep on the couch, or you lost track of time, you probably would naturally feel a little bit of guilt. And you'd be fine about feeling that amount of guilt because it seems appropriate for the situation, because you're a human. Now, just understand, like, humans are going to make mistakes on occasion, so forgive yourself for your transgressions. Next, decide how you want to respond. What would be a kind way for you to show up for others in this moment? Now, this might include an apology if you feel like you've generally had something to apologize for. Maybe a detailed explanation is in order. You get to decide. You might want to lay out a plan to show the other person that your transgression won't happen again. Whatever the case, you get to show up in a way that makes you feel good about yourself as opposed to making you feel bad about yourself. And next, be willing to forgive yourself. If you made a mistake, then so be it. You made a mistake. You're a human. You can't possibly think that it would be kinder to beat yourself up over this for the rest of your life. And the way that you'll know that you've truly forgiven yourself is when your guilt is gone, because you will know that you didn't do it intentionally. You will know that you're just doing the best that you can. I want you to imagine just for a moment that that error you made took place to you. You'd probably forgive someone else without too much fuss. If so, grant yourself the same grace and compassion. You should definitely treat yourself at least as well as how you would treat other people. I mean, that makes sense. Love yourself first. Have you noticed how much easier it is for you to forgive someone else than it is to forgive yourself? Why do we do that to ourselves? You should aim to be kinder to yourself, more forgiving for yourself, more loving and caring to yourself. Treat yourself like you matter. And then next, make changes instead of feeling guilty. So rather than indulging in guilt, okay, so we don't want to indulge in guilt. It's helping no one. It's not helping you. It's not helping the other person. Why don't you make a plan instead to make changes to ensure the same thing doesn't happen again in the future? I want you to be proactive in your approach. What changes do you actually want to make? Like, do you want to eliminate a bad habit or practice keeping your promises a little bit better, procrastinate less, get more organized? all in all, okay, I want you to think about the positive changes that you can make in your life that are related to the root cause of your guilt. And then the final step is just to move on. At some point, you have to let it go and get on with your life. And this will require for you to consciously decide that you're ready to let go of that guilt. You've allowed it to enter your mind, you felt it, and now you're ready to let it go. Trust me when I say that there's no benefit to holding on to guilt any longer than you need to. Guilty feelings suggest that you did something wrong and that you need to learn from it. Like, if you feel like you did something wrong, that's okay. Learn from it, accept that it was a learning experience, and then move on. And in a nutshell, everyone's experienced this crappy feeling of guilt on occasion. Every single human in this world. But it's important to resolve the issue, especially if it's like an ongoing one for you. Like, learn to forgive yourself, make amends, and move on. There's no value in punishing yourself for an extended period of time. I promise you, like, you won't feel better for holding on to guilt. If you made a mistake, do your best to fix it and move on. And that's the advice you'd probably give to your child or to any stranger. So take that advice yourself. And after that, like, once you've done the work, it is time to set yourself free and allow yourself to move forward from your guilt. Okay, we don't want to be feeling guilt all the time. I want you to live a life that is burden-free. So now that you really understand that it's your thoughts that are making you feel guilty, I wanted to offer you some thoughts that you can choose to embrace rather than latching onto the ones that you used to think and that made you feel guilty. So here they are. You can choose to think, I'm capable of moving beyond my mistakes. I accept the past as it is. I choose to be kind and respectful to myself. It's not my job to be perfect, but to show up with love, grace, and forgiveness. Sometimes I'm going to make mistakes, and that's okay. I forgive myself for those mistakes. I'm stepping away from indulging in guilt as it's not a useful emotion. My wants and needs are valid. I will remember to put my oxygen mask on first. I am doing the best that I can with the tools and resources that I have available to me. I fully embrace my life, both the ups and the downs and all the seasons that it entails, and my thoughts create my feelings and influence my actions and results, so I aim to choose thoughts that support me in life. And that is it, my friend. Over the course of 3 videos, I've shared with you the simplest way to eliminate 90% of unnecessary guilt from your life and shown you specific strategies to help you cope better with the 10% of guilt that will inevitably show up in your life simply because you are a human with a human brain. Now I want to take a moment to share with you how you can take the next step towards living a life where your mind is well managed, really well managed, so that you can create the results you truly desire in your life. So if you've experienced some massive shifts or aha moments during our time together, and the content that we've chatted about over the last few days has deeply resonated with you, you're definitely going to want to stick around to learn more about the next steps of working with me. Because I'd really deeply love to share with you what the next steps could look like on your journey and how we can continue working together. So this is where I want to introduce to you my course, Your Invisible Crown, a course that I created to help you quite simply show up as the best version of yourself every single day. Now, if you've enjoyed learning how to minimize the impact of guilt in your life, there's an excellent chance that you're ready for the next step, which is all about discovering the tools required to help you navigate through the rest of life's inevitable challenges in a way that quite simply helps you to show up as the best version of yourself. This is my core promise to you inside Your Invisible Crown, to provide you with the simplest tools you need to show up in a way that you love every day, rather than in a way that you know is less than your best. Now, I personally love to think about myself in the future and often reference the older version of myself, and I ask her for advice because I know she wants the best for me. She doesn't want me to waste my days or waste my potential or show up as a crappier version of myself every single day. And I want the same for you too, like to help you show up as the best version of yourself every single day. Like, I want you to get to your older years and become this 80-year-old version of yourself who thinks to yourself like, oh my gosh, I am so glad that I was brave enough to believe in myself. I'm so proud of the fact that I embraced courage and stepped outside my comfort zone. I absolutely love that I was prepared to take risks that felt scary and just to do the hard things. Or as Mary Oliver so eloquently says in this poem that she wrote, it's called When Death Comes. She wrote, when it's over, I want to say all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was a bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. And I can't read that without getting goosebumps, like I'm not kidding. And if you've ever wished that you could have someone to support you in your life, to help you show up with more purpose and more calm, more intentionality and more courage, this is what you're going to find in me. And this is what you're going to find when you invest in Your Invisible Crown in this course. This course is seriously unlike any other that you've ever invested in the past. Indeed, I've created it to be the most comprehensive course ever created to help you design and live a life you love. And it's the closest thing to having a life coach without the larger life coach price tag. So here are just a few of the transformations that you're going to go through when you invest in this course. And they include, you'll finally recognize and let go of all the crappy things that are holding you back in life. You'll be better equipped to deal with all the normal negative emotions that tend to keep us stuck in life. You'll also start to take action on the goals that are important to you instead of constantly believing that all the excuses why you can't do it are true. And you're going to learn to take action even in the face of obstacles. And finally, you'll be ready to face your fears by embracing courage and stepping outside your comfort zone more often, because honestly, this is easy to do when you have that invisible crown firmly in place on your head. Okay, most of us have probably lost it. We don't know where it is. We've misplaced it. We're going to grab it, put it back on your head so that you can show up every day as the best version of yourself. And if you've ever tried to change or improve your life in the past on your own before and it didn't work out like you hoped it would, it may just be time to do something different and to invest in your invisible crown. And I know that some people say that change is hard, but inside this course, I've made it as simple as possible for you to transform your life from the inside out. Because here's the truth, if you want to create change in your life, you need to be willing to do something different. I think we all know that saying, if you always do what you always did, you're always going to get what you always got. You need to be open to the possibility that change is possible for you, because it 100% is. And you need to make a decision today just to embrace the choice to stop living a half-assed, little blah blah life and commit to actually becoming the person you were meant to be. And I know that this option, this decision might feel really scary, it might feel really uncomfortable, but that's why I'm here to support you, to provide you with all the tools that you need to actually get to work and start making it happen. Because remember, life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. I genuinely want you to live life in a way that when you reach the end of your years, you feel as if you've lived life well, instead of squandering your precious time, your precious gifts, your potential. And this course has everything you need to help you move from the version that you're currently at into the new future version of yourself, version 2.0, with ease. So I honestly can't wait to welcome you inside your Invisible Crown course. Before we end this video, I just want to address a few of the more common questions that I often get, and I want to answer them for you right now. So question number 1, does this require a lot of time to go through, as I already don't have a lot of time in my life? Oh, my friend, the fact that you're convinced that you don't have enough time right now makes you the perfect person for this course, because when you go through this course, you're going to learn to be the CEO of your own life and run your days rather than having your days run you. And even though this course contains so much valuable information, seriously, it's going to blow your mind how much is inside or how much you find inside. It's a little bit like Netflix. You don't have to watch every single show on Netflix each month to feel like you've gotten your value from it. You can, of course, binge watch all the videos, or you can go at your own pace. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And you can, of course, revisit the course as often as you need to in the future. The goal of a course is actually for you to end up with more time, more energy, more money, more everything that you desire, because that is what happens when we are showing up as the best version of ourselves every day. We're not time poor, we're time rich. We're using our time wisely. We have our priorities in check, and we're making sure that we have the time and we're creating the time for the things that are most important to us, while ditching all the rest. Now, question number 2 is, how will I know that this course will work for me? Because I've bought courses in the past and I just forget about them. Well, I have to be honest with you. If you don't actually listen to the lessons inside, then the course might not be worth that much to you. But if you take the time to listen to the modules at your own pace and apply them to your life, then the payoff will be a life that truly feels totally transformed. Question number 3, does it cost too much? I don't have enough money. Given that this price is only just a little higher than my normal coaching fee for 1 hour, and yet inside you're going to get hours and hours and hours of video lessons, and my heart and soul poured into the most jam-packed collection of resources for you to reference as often as you need to, I seriously feel like this is the bargain of the century. You'd be crazy not to grab it. And if you value your personal growth, grab it now, because you're worth investing in. And if you feel like money is an obstacle, I guess my question to you is, how can you actually find a way to make this investment possible for you? And another question might be if you genuinely want the tools to help you show up as the best version of yourself every day, how could you be more resourceful? And if you were more resourceful, what options would you actually discover that you have at your disposal that you might just not have considered before? And now for the next question, is this change sustainable in the long term? I love this question, and here is my simplest answer to you. Of course, change is possible, and sustainable long-term change, because once you change your thoughts about yourself, you literally kickstart this domino effect that leads to different results And of course, different results leads to change in your life. And now for the final question, how is this different from the other courses, like all the other courses out in the market? Well, number one, it's different because I created it for you. When it comes to every single course or product that I've ever created in my business, my goal has always been to over deliver like crazy and provide you with zero fluff, like only lessons that actually will lead to new results in your life. And all of my lessons were created from my experience as a life coach. And this is exactly what I would share with you today if it was sitting opposite each other having a one-on-one life coaching session. Put simply, even if you are lacking belief in yourself, even if you feel like change isn't possible for you, I have your back. In fact, I have the most crazy amount of belief in you, in your potential to help you get started and carry you along the way. I genuinely can't wait for you to make this investment in yourself and in your life so that you can start showing up as the best version of yourself every day. So I do hope that this video has been useful to you. I know that I have loved every single minute of teaching this content to you, and hopefully I will see you inside your invisible crown, which is going to help you show up as the best version of yourself every single day. So as always, I love and appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being with me. I cannot wait to continue working with you. And until next time, dream big, my friend.